Hey gang, it's JC and this is your Daily Dose for Friday, October 1st, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We're doing the show in front of this bush on the corner of our property today because in about 2 weeks, this bush will go from being green the way it is now to being bright orange. So I thought we'd sort of like do a before and after thing here. Also, we told you a couple of days ago we were going to have those 7-Eleven 52-ounce mugs to give away today. We're going to do that next week, okay? So I didn't forget about those. We just have a lot to do today. All right, cooperative venture with Mind Active. You can get us on your mobile phone right now. Of course, archives top of the page, eye candy archives along the bottom of the page, Dave Murray's weather forecast, the ability to get the audio on iTunes. My gosh, is there anything we haven't thought of? All right, first of all, a big hello and a thank you to everybody at Bixby's over at the History Museum. A lot of people don't know this, but over in Forest Park at the History Museum, they have a very, very good restaurant. Lori Mack, Carl the intern, Lori's husband, Alan Knoll. We had lunch there yesterday, and it was a fabulous meal, great service. They have a big Sunday brunch over there, too. I think they said it's like $21.95, and they do an omelet station and all that sort of stuff. So just a great place. You might want to check this place out. Man, was that meal good yesterday. And as I said, great service at the History Museum. It's called Bixby's, and check it out. All right, let's get to the news. Chad Ochocinco, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, has his own cereal, and the proceeds go to feed the children. Pretty good, huh? You call the charity's toll-free number on the box of cereal, and you get a very explicit sex line. A whole different kind of Lucky Charms for Ochocinco. Walt Disney World opened on this date in 1971. Here's a little-known fact. Many of those who attended that day, still in line. Tony Curtis will be laid to rest next week. He's survived by his son and daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis. Anderson Cooper's going to get his own daytime talk show. Now, it's going to be just like Ellen, but with just a little less testosterone. There's a new study out of the University of Illinois at Chicago that says women become more, this is great weekend stuff, guys. Women become more aroused when they are kissed while they're standing up as opposed to sitting or lying down. All right, now there's your information. Use it. Domino's has begun testing an egg and cheese breakfast pizza. I think that's best done standing up also. Playboy wants that female Mexican sports reporter to pose nude. They say they'll give her big bucks if she takes it all off. Now, TMZ is reporting that her contract forbids her from doing so. I don't know. Those pictures of her clothes are so tight, I feel like I've already seen her naked. Meredith Vieira leaving the Today Show to spend more time with her family. Katie Couric's contract is up on the CBS Evening News and the ratings stink. So could Katie return to the Today Show? In the meantime, you know, sometimes women say, well, I just don't know what men want. I'll tell you what men want. Amy Robach, who is on the Today Show, she does like the Saturday Today Show, and then she does reporting and other stuff. Unfortunately, she speaks. Because when they asked her what sort of music she... you got to understand something. This isn't I sort of don't like blondes. I'm much more partial to brunettes and redheads. Just not crazy about blondes for some reason. But this woman is a knockout. Former cheerleader, a little meat on her bones, a little muscle. You know, she's built really, really solid, you know, and really, really cute. But they asked her what sort of music, and I'm sitting there for years watching her going, oh my God, this woman's unbelievable. And then they asked her what sort of music do you like, and she said, really like Miley Cyrus and Britney Spears. Boner shrinker. Sunday night into Monday morning, possible frost in St. Louis. Be aware of that. All right, we got a couple of random things here. The marriage rate in the United States is just crazy. Yesterday, the Census Bureau released new data that found the marriage rate in this country hit its lowest point in the last 130 years. In 2009, only 52% of Americans 18 and over said they were married. That's down from 57% in the year 2000. In the year 2000! By the way, it just seems like every time I start this show, somebody fires up a lawnmower or a leaf blower. These guys right down here, it's uncanny. Anyhow, so down from 57% to 52% just in the last couple of years. The census has only been collecting data since 1880, and the percentage has never been lower than it was last year. The economy definitely a factor. The younger generation is sort of cool with waiting. The census also found that in 2009, for people 25 to 34, 46% were never married, and 44% are currently married or had been married and now divorced. And that's the first time in history that the never married group was larger than the married group. Not your imagination. Sometimes you're watching TV, and I really noticed this having a baby. Because you get the baby to sleep and everything's fine, and you're watching TV, and the show is going, and it's like, we'll be right back. And then, buy some cornmeal! It's like, buy a new car, buy a new stereo, buy a TV. The commercials just come on so freaking loud, and you lunge for the remote control so it doesn't wake up the whole house. Well, that's been legal up until now, but on Wednesday, the Senate unanimously passed a bill that would require TV stations and cable companies to keep the commercials at the same volume as the regular TV programs. Hallelujah, you guys finally did something in the House and the Senate that's actually worth something to somebody. All right, let's jump ahead to movies, because last night we saw the sneak preview of the movie The Social Network. I don't know, a lot of people on Facebook. I reluctantly got on the whole Facebook thing, and you just have to, otherwise you can't even communicate with people, because we're raising an entire generation of people who lack the ability to just speak to one another. They have to do everything online. The Social Network, PG-13, Jesse Eisenberg, and by the way, I'll talk about him in a minute. Jesse Eisenberg plays Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg in the story on how he created the site, and just about, he pissed off everybody he knew in the process, and a lot of people who didn't know. Your new Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, plays Zuckerberg's friend and co-founder Eduardo Saverin. Justin Timberlake is in it too, as one of the Napster guys who advises Zuckerberg and eventually becomes president of Facebook. It's directed by David Fincher. This is the guy who did Seven and Fight Club and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. The screenplay by Aaron Sorkin. That immediately gets my attention. The guy who did The West Wing and the movie The American President with Martin Sheen and Michael Douglas. This depiction of what goes on at Harvard is really remarkable. Nobody studies. Everybody's so freaking smart they don't have to study, I guess. And these people are too smart for their own good. I went to college, okay? I graduated. I went to Northern Illinois University, and my college experience doesn't look anything like this Harvard thing. It's just amazing. How do I say this? Okay. In the movie Goodfellas, everybody was a trained killer. They were practically assassins, for God's sakes. They were so good at it. And they were just horrible, despicable people. And yet, they had some sort of charming, endearing quality. In this movie, these are such unlikable people that it's almost hard to enjoy the movie. Now, it's a very well-made movie and definitely worth your time. All you really need to know about this jerk Zuckerberg is the fact that he donated all that money to that New Jersey school system to try to repair his image, because he knew this movie was coming out that paints him in a very, very damaging and awful light. I'll give it a reluctant 4 out of 5 corks, almost 3.5 though, because the movie doesn't stay with you. It's a very well-made movie. I think that Jesse Eisenberg could get an Oscar nomination. I heard a lot of talk about this being a Best Picture nomination, and it's a little early for that. My sense is that it is not going to be a Best Picture nominee. Let's see what else happens here. But 4 out of 5 corks, maybe 3.5. I'm not sure. I'm waffling on this. It's not going to stay with you like a real 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 film. Jesse Eisenberg, let's just see what happens in terms of a possible Oscar nomination for him. I think this guy's either getting louder with the lawnmower or getting closer. I'm not really sure. All right, Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live this weekend. Bryan Cranston from Malcolm in the Middle, and the show that a lot of critics insist is the best show on television right now, Breaking Bad. He's the guest host. Tonight, by the way, Friday night, Michael C. Hall, Dexter, is going to be on Dave. And Bill Maher has a good show, too, with David Cross, Ariana Huffington, Joe Klein, and Nora O'Donnell from NBC News. All right, birthdays today. Mark McGuire is 47. What do you give to a man who's injected everything? Also, tomorrow, our pal Cindy Schrader having a birthday, and also on Sunday, our pal Kelly Highland having a birthday. Is that tomorrow or Sunday? Sorry, Kelly. All right, JC's Video Village is up for the remainder of the weekend, and then we replace it with all new stuff on Monday, and this stuff goes into the archives. 1993, they said go to New York and interview the people from CBS News. So we did Dan Rather. We did some of the guys from 60 Minutes, like Steve Croft. We got Geraldo Rivera in there somehow, I'm not really sure. But we talked to Andy Rooney, who at the time was 74 years old. I think he's either 91 or 92 now. So 60 Minutes had its 43rd season premiere last weekend. So Andy Rooney on the Video Village. The Wayback Machine also back to 1993 when we had a press conference down at One Memorial Drive to announce that I was going to work at KMOX. Should have seen the faces on those reporters. They didn't know what to make of that. Our old school photo for the rest of the weekend, back to 1985, and the billboards that we had put up with me and the U-Man. Some great stuff there. That's when radio stations actually used to promote their radio personalities. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. It was 50 years ago this week that Whitey Herzog's favorite TV show, The Flintstones, made its debut on American TV. It was the first animated series ever to make it into primetime TV, and the CBS News report is just fantastic. Richard Schlesinger did a really, really good job on this piece. You'll see it on JC's Eye Candy. It's right below what you're looking at right now. All right, that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody. We have lots of stuff for you next week. Tell all your friends we are here at jc'ontheline.com. In the meantime, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Friday, October 1st, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Watch that bush in a couple of weeks. It's going to change. And we'll do those 7-Eleven mugs next week, by the way. In the meantime, that's it. We've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.